All right, welcome back. I'm still with Femi Adefeso. Femi's a guy that loves basketball. Femi, very enthusiastic when he talks basketball. I don't know if he's a good player, but he talks with his mouth. Femi, let's quickly do this. The teams that got involved, that got themselves sanctioned. We don't need to go back to why they were sanctioned. But do you really see the NBA BF coming down hard on those teams and probably keeping them away for a long time?
It's left to be seen, Yemi. They've shown their muscle, so to speak, with the action they took, last season.
Which was very courageous.
Exactly. Taking 3 teams, not just any team, 3 traditional Lagos teams. Yes. Technically out, although let's say 2, because 1 already, had pulled out due to, of course, joining the other league. While, of course, we had Jordan Warriors and Islanders who were willing to play both. But to cut the long story short, yes, they were pushed out, and I just don't know exactly what will go on or what will pan out at the end of the day. That's why it's better, we save, ourselves the trouble, and then the declaration comes out on exactly what it is,
so we know where
so that these teams who are in the Atlantic Conference, if it's that they are fighting for 3 places, then they are going. If it's just 1, they will come out. But I think with the kind of aura these teams bring, I think it will be smart for all parties to actually have some of these clubs come back. There's a way they can work these things out. I know for sure, if really it wants to be worked out. Because, whether I like it or not, we need the quality these guys bring.
Yeah.
Yes, they've had, according to the rules, they should be punished, but if also there's...
But in the interest of the growth of the game too,
yes, we also need to...
balance it out.
Exactly, balance the whole thing eventually. So we'll see how it all pans out at the end of the day. But let's leave it to our side. Even the teams that are coming up looking like, the teams that may likely replace this team, so are looking good. The police Bartons who have gone to find out before, closely. We have the likes I mentioned, Comets, who of course narrowly missed out qualifying last year. Raptors, doing so well as well, getting sponsorship and all of that. And also, the Nigerian Army team, on the other side, and we also have some other traditional teams like Zamfara Shooters, to mention a few of those teams there. So everybody's enthusiastic about qualifying for the Premier League. So either is me, whatever comes out of it, we just want to act, very fast, and let's make things run smoothly.
Whatever we do in the interest of the game.
Exactly. So we don't get to a point where there's now another discord, there's problems off the court that is affecting whatever it is that is going on the court.
Let me also get you talking about preparation for some other teams that you didn't. I think you were mentioning something. Maybe you should fill us in with some other teams that you want to talk about.
Yes, it's also Continental season for the teams that did well, won the league, came runner-up, in the Nigerian Basketball League, both men and women. Of course, it's no longer news, that Dolphins Basketball Club, actually won't be playing, in the Continental Championship. However, they've started, recruiting players, and they started their program in ensuring that they come back next season, full of life and energy. We heard they lost a couple of players who traveled abroad, got scholarships to go and study, and a few of them joined other teams. That one of the reasons, apart from all other details as regards finances. But for Customs, they too are in a very worrying situation because they are preparing, but they've not been able to get funds, to ensure that they go on, the training tour that they plan to go for, and also execute the qualifiers, which is going to be in Togo, at the end of the month. You have to qualify for the group stage, just like it is in the CAF Champions League in football. So same also for basketball, the teams, from Nigeria, Kano Pillars and Customs for the males, First Bank for the women, will go to Togo and fight for a place in the finals. The finals for the men will be in Egypt. That should be later in December, while the finals for the women will be in Mozambique. It should be late November as well. But in between both, they still need to go to Togo, which is the immediate need. I can't remember the last time all Nigerian teams, 4 of them, both 2 from the male category and women, didn't qualify for the final. So this year we might just be seeing 3, because none of the other teams who came 3rd or 4th is willing to take that spot, which is allowed, by the rule. So we'll see how it pans out at the end of the day. But I'm worried for Customs, because at this point,
financial commitment is always been an issue, not necessarily because those teams don't have quality. I mean, we've heard stories, about some of these things. But I'm hoping that will not be the case this time around.
Yes, traditionally you would expect some teams not to actually have some of these problems. A team like Customs, I think it's an arm of government. One way or the other, there should be a way of, getting
running the club without having
issues. And I know they support sports a lot. It's not just basketball they play. They play so many other sports. And we talked about the Nigerian Army too, who is also trying to do the same. So I'm really surprised, that Customs of all the other teams, is getting through all of this. Canopilas too just managed to start preparation. Some of them are saying it's the economic situation of the country. But I hope this doesn't affect, preparation. The teams, according to the coach, one of the coaches, he said they've started practice, they've been working out, but they would have loved to expose themselves to the environment they'll be playing in, go ahead of time, play a couple of friendly games against some
we don't shoot ourselves in the leg.
Exactly, because at the same time too, you also need to, want to use the word acclimatize, but you need to get familiar with the playing environment.
Yes.
And then some of the kind of opponents you would play against, because sometimes that's what competition brings. And remember, everybody is fighting for a ticket. Now we're expecting teams from Benin, Togo, Ghana, Niger Republic, Burkina Faso,
not come
Liberia, and Cote d'Ivoire. So these are champions, in their own rights, coming in to fight for that, 2 slots, that will be available. So it's going to be a tough test, for our Nigerian teams, that will be going to Togo to go and compete, for a place in the final. So I'm wishing them all the very best, and I just hope that at least before tomorrow is still a weekday, they can get their monies in their pocket and start executing whatever final touches they need to put, into that preparation, so we can at least end up seeing both teams from the male category in Egypt and of course First Bank in Mozambique.
All right, I'm going to take you out of basketball, but before I do, a lot of people watching, a lot of people seeing you will say, "Oh, you're so enthusiastic about basketball. Where can I go this weekend if I'm a lover of the game to see the game, or if I want to play? I just want to enjoy the game."
I'm glad that there's a growing community for basketball now. Almost every area you get to, you would see a little park, where there's a rim that you can play. I know somewhere in Ikeja, at Arongala outside the Ndubisi Kano Park, there's somewhere there where they play basketball. You go to Roe Park, Yaba, Lagos, you go to the National Stadium.
So basically, you don't have an excuse.
You really don't, you don't, or to be honest with you.
You're likely going to get one close to you.
You will. It's just all about just searching, I'm sure on a Saturday, you just walk on, so you see someone carrying a bag and a ball.
So you don't have to go to the stadium.
Just ask, you don't need to get to the stadium, to play basketball. They are in every place. There's in Mile 2, there's in First Stack. It's almost everywhere, you can get to. And you talked about how good my skills are, but I can assure you, my hands are as good as my lips move when it comes to basketball.
Okay. Well, I'll test the truth of that very soon. But Femi, let's quickly leave that and talk about football now and go to Jordan and talk about the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. It all ended for Africa. Ghana lost in the quarterfinal. Let's give you the results in that one. 2 matches were played yesterday, 2 played today, and we have the 4 semi-finalists. But let's see if we can quickly get the results. That's it. North Korea did the job on Ghana, 2-1 at the end of it, and Japan defeated England. So end of the road for England in that one. So let's go look at the semi-final fixtures and see how the teams will line up. Venezuela, they defeated Mexico, will take on North Korea. Spain will take Spain, of course, defeated Germany, and Japan defeated England. Femi, take a look at this, and I'm not saying you have a crystal ball, but where do you think the semi-final matches, where do you think it will go?
With the way the Asians are played and their track record at this level, you can't rule them out.
Okay, you're not ruling out an all-Asian final
at all. The fact that they've been separated. But hey, you look at the Spanish side. They've been probably the best attacking side of the tournament. With 11 goals in total. Averaging about 22 shots on target. With 17 blocks in between. So they are facing a Japanese side too, who has scored the highest goals in the tournament. So I like that matchup between Spain and Japan. A lot of goals, will be in between both sides. For the Venezuela side, I think they are a more defensive and a more compact side, compared to the Koreans. They have the best goalkeeper of the tournament, up until now, Nayosa Caceres, who has kept more clean sheets than any other, goalkeeper, 5 to be precise, and let in just 4 goals and have saved about 14 direct balls in between. So if you ask me, I think we would see one of the Asian teams at least in the final. I don't know if it's going to be Japan or Korea. And the Spanish girls have been in neither here nor there, although they have their highest goal scorer, in the mix as well. So Spain, Korea, Spain, Japan, it's going to be tough, but I know goals will be scored definitely in between. While Korea and Venezuela, maybe the defensive tactics of the South Americans, will give them an advantage over their opponent's formation.
Femi, let me allow you to have your say. We're talking about this tournament, Nigeria, not there anymore. A lot of reasons have been given as to why we were not able to get out of the group stage. Some people are already saying there's a decline in our football. Other people are saying it's just because we didn't prepare. Where do you stand in both divides?
Yeah, I think it's a measure of both, to be honest. It's a measure of both. Yeah, we didn't prepare. You fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. It's like the law of karma. You can't beat around it, or you can't go around it. And of course, you look at the system we run, our league. How well does it flow? We know the stories, the walkovers, the lack of funds, the lack of sponsorship. It's tough. Women's football in Nigeria is not anywhere near what we've seen on TV. Let's be frank about it. We just try to put a lot of makeup, just to make it look beautiful. But it's not been, and it's coming. It's been a long time coming. Because why? We are not improving on what we have, and other teams are getting there. They are improving. Gradually, they are beginning to get, to where they want to get, while we are still struggling with where we are. And it's just a matter of time. They will overtake us. And that's why the Falcons are no longer blowing out teams. They are struggling to qualify, for tournaments now, unlike before. Look at the age grade level, to where we used to at least get to a certain point, at least get to the group knockout stages, the quarterfinals, and then we come down. It's not rocket science. We failed to do these things, and we are just seeing the result. But I hope that our administrators too, are beginning to also take notes of why we haven't gotten to where we are, and then look at the teams that are working. Korea, Japan, I mentioned them. They are consistent teams at this level. You ask yourself, what exactly are they doing right? And the beautiful thing about it,
while you're speaking, Femi, something came to my mind. I remember the words of our sister Adoshola when she attended the FIFA seminar earlier this year. Our society, does it affect? Is it a good ground for women football? Does it affect? Probably if you have a daughter, now would you allow her to play football? All of those things. Is it a factor?
Well,
is it a factor? That's
yes, but what I think the times are beginning to change.
Yes.
You mentioned the young lady now, Sister Oshola. She's a role model for any young lady, in Nigeria. I mean, you cannot actually look at her and see anything wrong, in the way she carries herself, in the way she speaks, how professional she's become, and how rich she has become too. Yeah. So why would you want to stop, your child, from following the footsteps of such, an amiable.
But she's 1 in 1,000. That must be said.
Yes, but that is why there are a lot of social around Nigeria. So it's all about putting together, the enabling environment and the platform for them to showcase themselves. Look, I tell people that our sister just got one opportunity, the under-17 championship. I'll be on the 20 championship, beg your pardon. Yeah, and she shone like a million stars. You could see that this girl actually has what it takes to be a world-class footballer. And then she played on the Falcons team as well. And you could no doubt rule the kind of talent she had. And with discipline, and all the other, ingredients that makes you successful in sports, you can see she has everything. And that is what has made her. That is exactly what has made her where she get to where she is right now. So I think the couple of people, too, can get there with all these things as well. I mean, if she can survive in this environment and come out, and be this outstanding, I think there are a few more. We have a lot of players now playing abroad, compared to before. So it's not just her, although yes, she might be the big star or the superstar, but we have players in the US, we have players playing in the Scandinavian countries, which are the big leagues in Europe, in women football as well. So I really don't see anything wrong. Culturally, we are beginning to embrace, the football thing, and really it is something that we should also look at developing, not just the national teams. I think that's where we focus too much on getting the things done on the national thing. We should look back at the developmental programs for women as well, and then the league. The league is very, very important.
Femi, I want to thank you for your time on the show tonight. It's been nice having you, taking you out of basketball and allowing you talk football. That's been the show tonight. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything that we've been able to do. We'll leave you with pictures from that quarterfinal game between Ghana and North Korea at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. We'll do this again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.
Sunny day in the Jordanian capital and the Amman International Stadium, awaiting a decider to see who will go through into the quarterfinals. Korea DPR will be huge favourites. They won the tournament in 2008. They need just what they haven't done before, Nigeria, and that is score a goal. Failed to do that and they are out of the tournament. So they are going to have to be very, very positive today, even if it is at the risk of letting the dangerous Korea DPR players counter. They're just going to have to take that risk. Here's the first shot. What a good save that was. Wonderful save by Ok Kumju from an absolutely rasping drive. Nigerian goal threat. That is a terrific save because Ajibade caught that really well. Here's Ko again. And there's no flag here. It's a real chance for Ree to open the scoring, and she has. Rihai